My name is Travis Brady, and my presentation is on Beyond Budgeting for Dr. David Christensen's cost accounting class. The references for my presentation can be found on the intro slide to my PowerPoint. Next slide. It's important before we talk about beyond budgeting that we understand what budgets are. The most common type of budget that we see is just your traditional budget. You probably have a personal budget where you keep track of your income and your expenses just to make sure that you're staying within the limit so that you have enough money. Often at work, we hear managers say, don't go over the budget. According to Hanson's article, many managers are dissatisfied with their current systems, or in other words, budgets, and are actively considering changes. If so many people are considering changes, there must be a lot of disadvantages to budgets. Next slide. There's 3 disadvantages to budgets that I could pick out as I researched. The first one is that they quickly become obsolete. At the start of the year, we set figures for the whole year of what we think our income and expenses will be. In today's society and world where things are changing so fast, it's hard to determine what will happen 6, 8, 11 months from now when we hardly even know what can happen tomorrow. With the internet and social media, things can change overnight. The second disadvantage is that there are gaming and earnings manipulation. 63% of managers indicated budgets were significantly emphasized in evaluations. If so many managers are being evaluated based off the results of static budgets or traditional budgets, certainly there are several that are working the system so that they can get bigger year-end bonuses for reaching their budgeted goals. And lastly, budgets are costly to develop. It can take 1, 2, or even 3 weeks to develop a budget. And time is money, so that time being used to develop a budget could be used in other ways to help the company. Next slide. So Beyond Budgeting strives to eliminate traditional budgeting and its weaknesses. This is a relatively new study, and not too many businesses are totally eliminating traditional budgets, but finding ways to improve them. And a key question that we should ask ourselves is, can we function without a traditional budget? Like I've said, we're so accustomed to them that we have one in our personal lives, at our work, that it would be hard to imagine a life without them. Next slide. One key aspect of Beyond Budgeting is our rolling forecasts. These require shared values and clear boundaries by managers and employees. That basically means trust. This empowers employees and managers to make an adjustment to strategies when things change. The targets are based off competitors and internal goals rather than based off a budget that's developed at the start of the year. Because of these rolling forecasts, our performance is stretched, and instead of having not so lofty goals that we can reach to get our year-end bonus, the targets that are set are often set a little bit higher and changed from time to time to help stretch our performance. This in turn ensures short-term and long-term success. Next slide. Other benefits include flexibility and adaptability. Like I said, our world can change overnight, and due to that, we have to be able to change our budget and our plans and our goals. And a static or traditional budget just doesn't give us that flexibility. Beyond Budgeting is more proactive. Instead of reacting to the situations that occur around us, we are proactively responding before things happen. Beyond Budgeting is dynamic and continuous. Instead of setting a budget for a 12-month period, it's a continuous process where things are constantly changing and adapting to our surroundings, our competitors, our internal goals, and strategy. And as the last bullet point states, it's tightly coupled with strategy. Traditional budgets can't illustrate the world which we're actually living in, according to Hentu Aho's paper. And that is probably the most important benefit of Beyond Budgeting, is that it is flexible and we're not stuck with one goal for the whole year. In conclusion, last slide, Beyond Budgeting is paving the way for positive change. So let's drop our traditional budgets that are obsolete and out of date and taking up our time and money when we can move to Beyond Budgeting and ensure that we stretch our goals and reach for higher goals.